this is going to maybe work a little bit better for me, okay? So I'm just going to give a few minutes for individuals to pop back in. When you pop back in, you know what? Drop me a message. Let me know you're here. Let me know whether you can see and hear. If it's any better, we'll figure it out. As I said, we've just moved over to Starlink, and Starlink is in beta right now. So it's just getting everything kind of working there, okay? So hopefully the sound and hopefully the video and things are in a better place. It could be just, like I said, I seem to be having issues with my laptop tonight. Okay. And not super clear. Let me see if I can, okay. So I just kind of shifted things. So let me know if that is a little bit better. Beth, you said can see me, not clear, but see and hear you. So let me know. I just kind of downed the way it runs. So let me know if that's better now. If the quality is a little bit better anyway. Okay, can see and hear. It's a little bit better. I don't know if I drop it any more down. So I'm going to drop it down one more time, and you guys can let me know if that's any better again or not. But blurry again. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to hide myself for 1 second, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if this is any better. Hubby's switching over to Netflix. It's a little bit lower streaming, so hopefully this will make it a little bit better. Maybe I'll up it back to, I think that's too low. I'm going to stay with the standard and see how this works. Okay. So it's better now. Yeah. And as I said, we're in Starlink. It's still in beta. And I know they're still having a bit of issues with video type stuff. And it's supposed to be getting better, but we will see. Yeah. Jude, having a hard time tonight. Yeah, I think it is. We're like half hour in and I haven't been able to do anything. I'm going to wait and see whether Shauna Marie is going to come back in. I'm not sure who all's in here. Shauna Marie was who I was talking to. I know Scott Andrew was in the other room as well, so he can let me know if he's back in. Okay, I see you, Shauna. Shauna, did you hear anything more of what I was saying before? You were asking about why you feel kind of off and things. And I was trying to explain the energy right now is a little crazy. I mean, we're just coming out of Mercury retrograde. We are, with COVID and what we call the collective consciousness energy, it's creating a not so nice energy. And people that are sensitive or open, they're kind of downloading it and you're feeling it, you're experiencing it. If you're an empath, you're going to pick up all those vibrations as well. There's so many factors that can be involved with that. So yeah, you said just the Kool-Aid. Yeah, I make jokes about that as well. Sucking it up. But people that are sensitive, we are pulling this in and the energy is so much higher than what it was before. And when you're not necessarily keying into, if you will, pure energy, it can really cause havoc in your body. Right. So yes, there's a lot of integration going on. Last night was a full moon. I mean, there's so much stuff. And the biggest thing I found over the past little while is it's almost like you start to, connect with the energy and you're feeling pretty good. Things are going well. And all of a sudden it's like you hit that wall again. And you got all this stuff hitting at you. Well, they're actually shifting. They meaning higher beings, our guides. It's part of an evolutionary phase that's going on right now. So, we're being upgraded and upgraded and upgraded. And the other side of that is part of this shift in the energy too, is about doing your work, right? Pardon the French, but dealing with your shit. So often we hide things in the corners, right? We don't want to deal with it. That's one of the things I'm learning, taking the spiritual coaching and the spiritual practitioner program, and learning what's called the E4 trauma, which I'll be bringing forward to clients later on, is I got to do my work. I got to look in the dark places, and I got to deal with the emotional baggage that I've been carrying for so long, knowing that it's time to let it go. Right? So this is all part of this evolution as well, and the changes that we're experiencing right now. Okay. Is that kind of making a little bit of sense for you, Shauna? At least maybe giving you some examples of some reasons why you can be having that. Yeah, Barbie, you're talking ending up with a migraine today. Yeah, there's headaches, back pain, lower back pain. These are all, if you will, bodily symptoms of integration of energy. So the best thing I always tell people is, you know what, when you notice there's something going on, when you feel that way, go out in nature, go and meditate, do something you love, right? Find that place to relax and let go. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. Okay. So hopefully that's helped a little bit. And you made a comment about ignoring the work. And that's very, very important, right? We're not being allowed to ignore it anymore. We're not being allowed to put it all over to the sidelines. When you try and do that those situations are going to keep coming back up in your face, right? And that's where it's important, where, you know, you have a choice. There's free will. You can try and run and hide, but I make the joke about good luck, right? Because it's still going to be there, right? So hopefully this is running okay for you guys right now. I don't know if my husband went back on the internet or not, but so again, you guys that have popped on, sorry for the delay. I was having issues with programs tonight, and Facebook didn't want to work for me, so I figured I'd come back over here and see if it was going to work. And so far, hopefully it's okay. So just to recap some things, guys, the way I work is, as I see your names come up, I make notes of them. The spirit or guides direct me to certain names as far as, I don't say who's the most important, but the people that really need a message tonight that's important. Okay. If I'm not able to provide a message for you, you know what? This is what I do full time. I'd be more than happy to set you up with a private session as well. So I have a little list and I had some questions on it, and we will see, because I know some of the people come back in and some of them may not. So Scott, I had you after Shauna, and bear with me. I'm just kind of going down my list, trying to see who's all in here. And don't mind me if I don't get a little quiet, but a little slow, because I'm just trying to read to see what's up. Yeah. Felt so busy with daughter and school and work. Yeah. And you know, Shauna, when you're experiencing those things, stop, take a breath, and do something that helps you to relax. That's the best thing you can be doing. Okay. Okay. God, I sound like my sister. She always used to sing to herself. I'm like, no, don't. I don't want to be that. God love her. I love her. Okay. Hello, Christina, my dear. Let's see. So bear with me. I'm going to make some more notes here. So hopefully, Shauna, that's helped a little bit. And yeah, take care of yourself. Sorry, guys. I'm still trying to make the bottom of the list. Trying to. Oops. Okay. I know there's a bottom there somewheres. Somewheres. There is a bottom. We got about 70 people in here. And greetings to anyone that I may not have said hello to. Yay, there's a bottom. Okay. So, Scott, did you want to post your question or connection, my dear? And I would do my best to answer it for you. And Lynn's here. Let me know if you're still in here too, Lynn. Hello, Michelle. It's nice to see some familiar faces popping in. It's always a good thing. Okay. Bear with me. So, Scott, you're saying, oh, I put it on there and I couldn't see. Life is falling apart. Everything is falling apart right now. Your life. Okay, so your wife, I would say, walked out with the kids and just things. So sorry to hear that, Scott. One of the things that, you know, I talked about this evolutionary phase, and the guides do this sometimes. So there may be connections with what's going on into a lot of people's readings tonight. But one of the biggest things with this evolutionary phase too is if we're in situations that no longer serve us, that are no longer good for us, quite literally, they're falling apart. And that's relationships. And that is jobs, and that can be friends, and that can be family. It can be so many different aspects of our lives. Um, okay, give me one sec. Okay. Scott, I kind of get the feeling like you were a go, go, go type of person, because the first thing when I key into your energy a little bit is the guides are saying, tell them to stop and take a breath. And whenever I get that, it just represents the fact of being in a stressful state. I mean, and I definitely understand. I mean, I can see that would be stressful for sure. But on the other side, they show me go, go, go. They show me you're always a busy person. You have a hard time slowing down. So what is it that you're looking for as far as a question? And Scott, you know what? One of the things that I've learned, and I'm sure there's others here that can say the same thing, is sometimes we have to hit that bottom before we're ready to look at our lives and to begin to institute changes in ourselves, right? In order to change the circumstances around us. And I'm not saying, I'm by no means saying, oh, you're a bad person or you screwed up. That's not what I mean. But sometimes we can be so busy that we don't see the things that are right in front of our face. And the only way to truly see it is to, I use the term hit the wall. Sometimes we have to hit the wall before we go, what the hell just happened? Right? To be able to look at things in a different direction, right? And from a different perspective, and recognizing that sometimes, even though we may not see things as being positive in the moment, sometimes those situations have to happen. One, for us to grow, and two, for us to come around to better situations in our own life. Okay. I see your question, Scott, where you're saying, are things going to turn around? When I ask that question to the guides, and guides, can be very literal too. They say, this is up to you. This is your choice. And what they show me is something what I call the three monkeys, which is see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And typically what that represents is, to me, with regard to the situation you're asking about, it's like there was things that were going on already. But when they show me it's like having blinders. I couldn't see it. I wasn't aware of it, right? Or if you were aware of it, we were putting it to the sidelines, right? So when we talk about things going to turn around, the guides are saying, this is your choice. Are you ready to do some work, right? And as I said, this is by no means judgment. This is not what this is about. Do you kind of, I want to make sure you're understanding what I'm saying, right? So they're kind of saying this choice is yours about things getting better, right? What are you willing to do to change it? What are you willing to do within yourself and your circumstance, right? Amanda, you're saying, yeah, so true. And I mean, I've had to hit rock bottom before too. My first marriage, same thing. I had to get out of it. I'm abusive. I mean, a lot of things. We all have that, like that. But Scott, they keep showing me busy. They keep showing me the blinders. They keep showing me that there was things going on that part of you was aware of, but didn't want to address, right? I didn't want to look at it because that scares the hell out of me, and sometimes that's tough, right? We're in an energy now where, as I said, there's no running, there's no hiding, and it is here, right? Give me a sec. Kind of the gist of the situation too, what I'm getting is they're telling me for you to stop and breathe. And they're also saying that you need to give your wife some time. She's not ready to communicate, nor will she communicate right now. And you can keep going, what they show me is like, so I don't know if you're texting her a lot or trying to call her a lot right now, but they're saying, and I don't want to mean like, nothing, but if anything, just say, you know what, I'm here if you want to talk, or you know what, I miss you and I love you, whatever it is, they're saying stop with the continuation. Like, you get what I'm saying? I wish I could go magic wand, poof, here you go, everything's good, but we got to hit those places. And to be very honest, I feel like your wife's been struggling for a bit, and I get she's had issues communicating back with what she needs as well, but they show me the two of you butting heads. Neither one is really listening to the other and what the needs are. Do you understand? Hopefully this is helping a little bit. I mean, I wish I could say, like I said, everything's going to be the way you want it to, but what they're showing me is this is going to be a slow process because there's a lot of growth that needs to happen. And it's interesting because I was actually drawn to your name because that was my your name. My first boyfriend when I was 16, that was the same name. I thought it was kind of funny. Jumped out. Yeah. So Scott, they're saying you got some work to do, because I get your partner on the other side going, you know what? Hinting and hinting and hinting. And then they show me over here going, I don't mean la 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 la, but it's like fingers in the ear saying, yeah, okay, but really not hearing, right? So I feel that she hasn't felt heard, right? So it's going to take some time for change. But, you know, when you asked about, are things going to get better? The guy just keeps saying, this is in your court. Nobody can make you feel one way or the other. We choose how we're going to feel to any situation. And again, we're human. So yes, we're going to feel emotion. But when we can step back and really look at the situation from a different perspective and say, okay, what am I meant to learn here? What have I been missing? And how can I grow from it? How can I improve or maybe bring this relationship back together? That's your choice. Okay. Is that helping a little bit, my dear? Hopefully it is anyway. And Candy, I see you brought half your family again. You know what, Scott? You are very, very welcome. You know, the biggest thing is just stopping and taking a breath and refocusing, because they show me your thoughts are all over the board, and you just need to stop and, you know, bring everything back together, take a breath, and then say, okay, what's the next step? Okay. Take your time. Don't rush it. Don't try and push her, because the only thing that's going to do is push her further away. Okay. Well, I appreciate you too. It's nice, you know, like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing the work I'm doing, but I wouldn't be here. I mean, this is my way. This is what I do for a living, but coming live with you guys a couple times a month, this is my way of giving back, right? I mean, Candy comes to mind. Candy was trying to raise some funds for a friend of hers that has to have some surgery and needed some medical equipment. You know, here's someone else who, you know, was stepping up and going, hey, I need to help this person. That's what it's about. And especially now where people are so angry and fighting with each other, right? That's the last thing we need. You know, Candy, I hope you're in a better place and you're starting to raise the funds for what she needs. It's awesome what you're doing, and I'm really happy I was able to help with that a little bit too, right? Scott, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it keys into me in some work that I'm doing right now with some of my inner trauma stuff as well. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you guys tonight coming in and spending some time with me. So I hope that's helped a little bit, Scott. One step at a time. That's all we can look at, right? We're not in control of anything out here. The only thing we control is that moment, how we're going to react, okay? Good. I hope you're able to get what you need for her, Candy. That's important, okay? Lynn Thea, are you still around, my dear? Let me know if you're still in here. Victoria Chaplin, let me know if you're here. And I know some of you guys are kind of posting up questions. The guides direct me to names, and that's what I do is I take names in the book here. If you have something pressing, if you really want to have a connection, you know what? This is what I do full time. So I will be more than happy to set you up. Actually, I don't have my little banners out here, so let's do that as well. There we go. See, I jumped back in here and forgot all my stuff. Okay, it's Lynn. Victoria Chaplin, and KJ Hartz. Let me know if any of you guys are still in here. Here are the names that I had in there. Hopefully you guys are still picking up on me. To make a good point, engage in your own self-inner work. It will turn your outlook on life around. It's hard work, but so worth it. You've got this. You know what? That's a amazing point. You know, it is so true. And like I said, I'm taking this. I started with a spiritual coach, but it's what's called spiritual practitioner from something called Science of the Mind, which gets into universal laws and creation and things like that. Yeah, it's about doing the work. That's the biggest focus right now. Tanya, I see you asking, what does anniversary follower mean? You know what? I have no idea. I noticed that when I was on Facebook and I'm like, didn't necessarily, right? Sherry, thank you so much. We should be calm. We should be able to work together, right? And yes, everyone can have personal opinions, but you know what? We got to help each other out. So I haven't heard anything from Lynn, Victoria, or KJ. So I'm going to take a little look up here. And, I do ask you guys if you've had a message before, that I try and connect with people too that haven't had messages, just to give an opportunity to other people as well. Karen's like, me. Karen Joseph, go ahead then. I know you've been in on a lot of my lives too, and I don't think I've had anything recently for you either. Did you want to ask a question, my dear, or have a connection? I'm just going to find you again. There we go. Karen Joseph, let me know, my dear. So I'll cross out those other names and we'll see what happens. And sometimes people pop in and they just want to check in. And then they check out again. So Candy is saying I have a virgin. Jenny Nicole. Just give me a second. So Karen, did you want to have a connection or ask a question, my dear? You want a question too, Steve? I'm making notes, writing down names. I almost feel like Santa Claus. Awesome. Are any of my people around? There's always people around. Always, Marilyn. Karen Joseph, did you want to? Okay, there we go. I'm taking a test next week. I'm very nervous. Will I pass it? So give me a second here. Okay. You know what? There's some things you can do, because one of the things they're telling me is just thinking about the test, and they show me the blood pressure rising. They show me the stress levels rising. So even before you come into that, they're showing me, okay, what they're telling me is having you practice breath work. And you can think of it just trying to slow your system down, right? Stopping, taking some breaths, slowing the breath down. They show me your stuff, right? You're just more worried about when you get in that situation. It's like, oh, I freeze. Right? So what they're showing me is, prior to going in, stop and take some breaths, right? And just focus. And what they're telling me too is just, well, they say at the end of the day, this is what she wants to hear. And what I hear is, you've got this. Okay. You got this. You need to trust and believe that you do have it. Okay. They show me that you've practiced coming into it. You know your stuff. Stop thinking that you can't do it. So your biggest obstacle is your head. Okay. That making a little bit of sense for you? I'm not sure what type of test you're taking, but they're telling me you just need to stop and breathe. So between now and then, do some meditation, right? And if you're not used to it, you know what? YouTube's a great resource. Find something that's 10 or 15 minutes. That's about it. I mean, Alexa, all these other tools have all these types of things, but you can use something that's got a bit of hypnosis in it. But they're showing me the need to kind of structure your mind to slow down a little bit will be helpful to you. So by doing it now, if you just try and do it for 10, 15 minutes every day prior coming into it. And with that, it's focusing on your breathing. It's slowing down your breathing. And if you will, visualizing. Our mind, right, is the most powerful thing that we have, right? So when we use our imagination, see yourself getting in there, see yourself taking that test, see yourself, you got the answers, everything's flying out, see yourself with that, if it will, if it's in a written exam, see yourself with that paper after with, 95%, whatever it is that you need, right? Do it as though, you can go through your mind as though you're doing it. Are you understanding kind of what I'm giving you here? And Chelsea, you're saying, yeah, tests give so much anxiety. And I think a lot of people are like that, right? We kind of freeze. So they're just saying that there's things you can do coming into it, and you've done your, if you will, due diligence. You've done your work. Okay. That's the most important thing. Stop thinking you can't do it. Okay. It's important, right? What we, what's the saying? What we resist persists. That's one of the things that Dr. Aaron's been teaching me with the course I'm taking. And it's so true, right? The things we fight or the things we worry about, that's what we're going to create. Oh, my phone, my pen started dying and it's back now. Ever have one of those days? You know what, Karen? I mean, I see you're saying that it's timed and that's one of your biggest fears, but they keep telling me, they keep saying in my head to tell you, you've got this, you've got this. So don't worry about the time. Focus on, going through what you need to move through. So again, if it's written, like where you're sitting there physically writing, go through, do the simplest ones first, right? That's the easiest way to do it at first. And then go back to the other ones. Don't sit and watch the clock, because they're showing me like doing this and then looking up and then doing this and then looking up, right? Which is just focusing on the wrong thing. What do we want to focus on? We want to focus on you succeeding, right? And you getting a good grade on that. That's what it's about. Okay. And Chelsea, I see you saying, that's why I could not handle going back to school, right? Well, there's things that we can do to work with that, right? As someone who is a clinical hypnotist, that's one of the things. You can actually put someone under hypnosis and give them the answers that they want to remember. Or, you can work with anxiety. You can work with so many things. There's so many tools out there, guys, that you can work with, right? They can help with some of the issues that we have. Right? It's just up to you to go, am I willing to do this, right? Do I need to look into that? Let's see what's around. Okay. And Karen, you are very, very, very welcome, my dear. You need to believe more in yourself, because they show me that you struggle with this, not just to do with the exam or the test, but in general, because they're telling me you second guess. Right. And they show me that you're your own worst nightmare. So you get in your head way too much, and you can, if you will, psych yourself out. Pen's dying, so I have to get a new one here. Maybe that works better here. There we go. We'll just throw that one over there, so I know it's going to work. Okay. Yeah, Chelsea, it's, I see your comment about haven't learned how to fix or handle my anxiety in the right ways. And that's the thing is do some research. What types of things? Meditation. I know some of you guys, oh God, I can't meditate. I've never done it, whatever. Your meditation might be sitting on the deck listening to the birds, right? What is that thing? Think about the passions. Think about the things that slow you down. Okay. Those are the things you need to look at. It's like anything that we're doing, right? It takes time to learn. But the more you practice and learn and push yourself, right, then you can start to work with it. It might be also doing what I call root cause analysis, right? So this is an example of one of the things I'm learning called E4 trauma with Dr. Aaron. There might have been something that happened in your past, Chelsea, that you relate back to that anxiety, right? So because you had a traumatic situation, it becomes what we call a limiting belief, saying, oh, if I do this, this is just the way it is. So you made a comment about taking tests, and that's how I feel. So a limiting belief is saying every time I take a test, this is the way it's going to be. This is the anxiety, right? So by looking at, if you will, the trauma, we can start healing this stuff. This is work that I'm going to be bringing into my practice next year. But it's stuff that I have to do for myself too. It's not just, oh, here, let me learn something. Right now, you know what? I'm the one on the receiving end and trying to work through my crap. And sometimes, you know what? Emotional sucks hard, but you know what? So rewarding. Okay. We just got to do our work. And that's tough sometimes. Cut my other version back. All right, Candy. Let me know if Laura Williamson is still in here. Laura Williamson. Let me know. Give me a shout out if you're still here, Laura. And Barbie, let me know if you're still here too. Marilyn saying, my meditation is getting in my car and going out for a drive with the music loud. Perfect. For me, it was my motorcycle. I was the same way. I got some nice speaker systems for my motorcycle, and I have music, which is my happy music, and I have my music that I'm angry music, and I do the same thing, right? I'll just crank it right up, whether it's Phantom in the Opera on the one hand or Disturbed, Down with the Sickness on the other hand, right? Just depends on the mood and what's happening. Music's a great tool, and that's the biggest thing. It's us finding it, and it's us also facing what we need to deal with, right? That's important. So Karen, I hope that's helped. And I'm still looking for... No, I missed Laura's. I don't see a post from Laura. I know I asked. Jude Hill saying music is therapy. I agree, very much so. Amanda saying sitting by the water. Yeah, it's finding that thing that makes you feel good, that helps you to let go. Sitting on the ground, being in the water, that's getting grounded, right? Don Clark is saying music again. I haven't got any comment back from Laura Williamson, and if you did, I haven't seen it, and my apologies. Barbie, did you want to ask a question? Surely alcohol is my therapy. It's all about in small, I don't say small doses, but I suppose it can be in some ways, but definitely making sure that we're doing it responsibly, right? Laura Williamson was who I was looking for. Laura Williamson. So I'll go to Barbie right now. And Barbie, you can ask your question again there. David Miller saying writing poems. Yeah, it's so important that we have the outlet. A lot of times we'll go, you know what, I'm too busy. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do something else. And it's facing new fears. I have a fear of heights. So at one point I took a job working at heights and doing things like that to force myself. This is actually how my messages from Spirit originally started. Back in the day when I was a young channel, you know, I was in my early 20s, and the guide started talking to me about doing group work. And I was petrified about standing up and speaking in front of people. And the guide said to me that nothing will ever change unless you stand up and, you know, do the work you got to do. And so that was how my messages in Spirit actually got started with my group readings, is because I needed to face my fear, because I was terrified of speaking in public. And you know what? Is it comfortable in the beginning? No. But you know what? 20 years later, I can say that I'm so much more comfortable speaking in front of people, or being there, than what I ever was. Right. And that just comes from experience and doing. It's just so often that we hide, we run away from it. Right. We don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you that we're here to face those uncomfortable things right now so we can grow. So Barbie saying, a brother ended up in the hospital the other night in emergency surgery. Would like to know what will happen to him. I guess I need to look at, how do we put this? Barbie, can we fine tune that when you're saying you would like to know what will happen? It's kind of, I don't want to say it's an open-ended question, but what I can say, I kind of get the sense almost like being rushed in. Right. And so that tells me that it's something that was, you know, I don't necessarily say life-threatening, but it was very high priority, shall we say. Right. And as I say that, I also hear the guide saying, but he didn't listen. So I don't know if he was already told to slow down and not listening and not doing it, or if he already had a preconceived something going on and wasn't paying attention to it. But what that tells me is there was a sense of awareness in some ways. And now it's like, you know, I don't say make the joke, but it's same thing, right? So when you're saying what will happen to him, okay. And I still hear doesn't listen. He's stubborn. Not that a lot of men aren't, but they show me him being very stubborn and trying to push past things all the time, right? Give me a second here. So I kind of get the feeling like it's going to be a slow recovery for him, Barbie. I wish I could say that, here you go, but they show me slow recovery. And part of that is just because he doesn't slow down. Right. And so he's put in a situation, and health has a direct correlation back to emotion as well. And I just get the sense of frustration around him and these other, I don't necessarily mean angry at the world, but I just get a lot of emotion. He's got a lot of emotion going on inside of him right now. And this illness has stepped up as a representation of trying to slow him down so he's taking care of himself because he doesn't listen. Right? So he'd be happy to like, I'm up, I'm going, I'm whatever. But no, he's going to struggle with this for a while because it's going to force him to go into him. Right? Sometimes, like I said, we think about illness as being something out here, but really it isn't. It's forcing us to do the things we need to do. At the end of the day, I mean, he's going to come around. I think he's still going to have issues with his spine, still have some issues with his back. So slow recovery period. And what they show me is he may not spring back to where he was. So he may always kind of have some issues with that lower back area. But he's had issues with that back for a while, is what the guides are saying. And they especially bring me to that lower back and they show me compression of the cartilage and things. So his sense of mobility and stuff hasn't been that great for a while. Yeah, and Barbie, I see where you're saying that he never listens and he may have to relearn to walk. Yeah, and that's kind of the gist of what I get is he's going to have to. And they show me this person and being so frustrated with that and being so angry with that. But it is also a lesson in him to just stop and making sure he's taking care of himself. He's not going to want to hear it. He's going to be very irritable for a while. But yeah, and this is why they're saying it's going to be a slow process back, right? They do show me him, getting that mobility, still being able to walk and things, but they show me him still having future issues with his back. So whether that's just back pain or chronic pain, I kind of get there's going to be some issues there. Okay, Laura, bear with me here, my dear. I see you're back, and I'll get to you after I'm finished with Barbie here. Okay. Does that kind of answer your question, Barbie? I mean, a lot of times, especially those of us that are religious too, we kind of go, I wonder why God did that. And to me, it isn't necessarily about a power up in the sky that's saying, oh, you're not being good, here you go. It's more about, for me and my belief systems, it's about the lessons that we need to learn for ourselves. And if we're not willing to kind of look at the lesson or look at the work we need to do, then, if you will, the universe, ourselves indirectly too, will put it in a place where we have no choice. Right. And for me, that is a huge catalyst to try and do the work here versus here. Right. No one wants to hit the wall, but we will, unless we really look at what we need to look at the end of the day and do the work we need to do. Right. That help a little bit, my dear? Yeah, Barbie, you made a comment about helping you release some fears. You know what? He's too stubborn to go anywhere. And he's a strong person. Right. But it's just going to take time. Okay. He's not going anywhere right now. Kate, I see your little message there about loving to learn to be a medium. Such an amazing thing. You know what? As I said, I'm taking this program right now, but part of it is going to be designing, because this is the direction that the guides want me to going in, and this is the stuff I'm going to do. Is I'm working on training that'll be basically set for empaths first. So, helping you ground and protect and understand and basics. And then it's going to go from, if you will, the psychic medium side, which would be another aspect of the program. And then on the other side will be, hey, if you want to do this as a business. So this is all training that I'm going to be working on for next year. Each one of these modules, if you will probably be about 12 weeks. So yeah, I'm working on that because there's so many people waking up and they want to learn the skill sets. They want to understand what they have. And you know what? Some people, it's doing the trauma work. It's doing the inner work that we have to do. And as you do your inner work, the psychic side opens up. That's how I started developing too, was I had to hit the wall. I had to step out of a marriage that was abusive and I was afraid, right? But in doing so and hitting the floor, that's started opening up a lot of my other gifts, right? So good, Barbie, when you're talking about having dreams and stuff just before the incident. Yeah, pay attention, right? We're all intuitive. Just half of us don't listen to it, or we second guess it. We get wrapped up in our head, right? And that's one of the worst things we can do. We overthink things. The guides say that we're moving from being what we call head-centered to heart-centered. Heart-centered is feeling, right? That's what it's about, and that's where we're kind of sitting in, right? It's very, very important that we do the work right now, right? Maxine, I still can't stop thinking about your session. Well, I hope you enjoyed your session, and I hope it ticked off some things that, helped you kind of look around at things. Okay. So Barbie, I hope that helped. Laura, did you want to ask a question or have a connection, my dear? You know what I'm actually enjoying tonight, because a lot of times it's medium, and that's wonderful too, don't get me wrong, but I love getting into some of these other conversations too, some stuff in the physical aspect, and if you will, the metaphysical principles too, right? Especially now. I had missed that stuff. It was funny. I put it to the universe saying, you know what, I want to continue the training. I want to, really to step into, the beliefs I've had for so many years. And this is when I found this training. This is a year program that I'm taking, 360 hours. And it's basically a big part of it is, yes, the spiritual coaching to help you guys heal your trauma too. But the other part of it is to really understand the universal laws and to understand that we are the creators, and to do all this work so I can imbibe this into the work that I'm doing, right? But also help train and teach you guys that, you know what, you have a say in what's going on in your life. We are never a victim unless we choose to be. And sometimes, you know what, that's hard to hear. It's really hard to hear, right? Amanda, thank you. Amanda saying, Paula, I could listen to you talk all day. Your voice is very calming and relaxing. This is why I'm a good hypnotist. At least I've been told when I started. They said I had the voice for it. Okay, so Laura saying, I guess I'm thinking of my mom the most right now. I'm her age, and the last time I saw her healthy, it's been a lot on my mind. So are you in your head more about because of the age, Laura, if that makes sense? Like, you're not in your head going, well, my mom died at this age, so does that mean I'm going to die? Like, is that a worry for you? Candy, you're excellent at hypnosis. Thanks, Candy. Yeah, Candy did my sugar addiction program, and she said it helped. I know it helps. If I could hypnotize myself, I'd be laughing. Laura, I just want to kind of understand what you're asking. Again, are we looking for connection from mom, or are you just, it's on your mind because of the age and the time frame? And I think, when we do have a loss at certain ages, I think the mind automatically goes to those places. Candy, really? 37 pounds. Good job, girl. That's awesome. You've done well with that program then. So Laura, when you're asking about just wondering what she thinks of your life or where you're sitting. And the reason why I ask these questions is when I kind of key into spirit, then I can go, oh, this is what she wants to know. And it makes it easier for me to pull the information. Okay, one sec. As I'm saying it, she already starts stepping forward. And the first thing I hear is, she should know me well enough that no matter what she does, I would always be proud of her. So I don't know if you've been kind of stepping back and going, I wonder what mom's thinking about my life. I wonder what mom's thinking about, what I'm doing or where I am, right? But your mom's very adamant to think otherwise, right? That's just not the way she would be, right? And when I key to mom too, because mom was sick for a bit before she passed. I do get illness there, but then they show me, they show me the ramp, which is illness, and then they show me a quick decline. Were you not able to get kind of closure with your mom passing, Laura? Because it almost makes me feel like wanting or needing to say more or have a connection with her prior to her passing, and it's almost like there wasn't enough time. That's why I'm asking that question. Yeah, Candy, I'm proud of you too. That's awesome. 37 pounds. See, program works. Hypnosis can help in a lot of ways. I just get this sense, Laura, because I hear your mom like saying, I'm sorry I left the way I did, but it's almost like, oh, I wish I could stay, but I can't. Right? And I get her being a fighter, but then they show me when this disease hit her, this illness, She deteriorated so quickly. Did she have a cancer of some sort? Because she shows me fighting, 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 and then they show me the body system shutting down and her losing her strength and like losing weight and all these things, but it's so abrupt. So it's like in the one hand you're going, well, what the hell's going on? And then you turn your hand and it's like, I don't say she's on the other side, but they literally show me about taking the last breath. And, Laura, that's why I was asking about a cancer connection, because I felt like, that was there. And one of the things I've learned doing this work is a lot of times when we get cancer, and this, again, not judgment, but pretty much 99% of the time I find when I connect with a spirit on the other side who's passed from cancer, it is because that they've held on to emotion, right? We bury it. And cancer is a disease that eats us from the inside out. And it's amazing the things I've learned as a medium and seeing the similarities in spirit. So we can be wearing the smile on their face, right? And portraying ourselves as being happy. But if we're still holding it, right, inside, it's going to manifest in our body, right? So she's kind of saying, like, she wants you to know how proud she is of you, right? And what I hear, what she's saying is, I've been there every step of the way. Because she says at times you've gone back on, I wish my mom was here for this. I wish my mom was here for that. And she wants you to know that she's with you every step of the way, because she's telling me that you've been really missing her lately. Marilyn, you're asking about if I do hypnosis for stop smoking. Yeah, I do. That's one of the main ones that I do too. I get a lot of people for stop smoking. Yeah. Okay. You've blossomed, Laura, and your mom's saying how much you look like her. And it'd be like someone standing there so proud, right? She says she how does she put it? It's almost like you're a bit more of a spitfire in the personality, right? Where mom seems to, if you will, taken a lot of crap and not always opened up, right? And like I said, put it back. I get putting on the brave face, moving forward, facing the things she needs to face, but at the end of the day, still some work to do. She's just saying she's sorry. Sorry she left the way she did and how abruptly she left, right? But she really wants you to know that, as I said, she's with you every step of the way. But she says, I want you to live your life too, and not from the sidelines. So it tells me in some ways that you can get in your head too, and you second guess yourself. Do you understand that? Yeah, Marilyn, not a problem. Or, I mean, you can check out my website too. I've got it on my little, what do they call it? Crawler, I guess, on this. PaulaHunter.ca. Everything is there as far as services. If you look under stop smoking, it'll give you the details and pricing and all that fun stuff. Okay. Laura, I see you saying, yeah, all the time. Your mom's bringing that up, right? She's telling you to stop. And she's showing me similarities between the two of you. But it's like at times she felt like she sat on the sidelines and really didn't reach out and do some of the things she wanted to do. She doesn't want that for you. She wants you to be able to step in, because it's almost like I got this passion. There's this thing I need to do. It's over here, but it's like I keep second guessing it. No, I can't do that. But it keeps kind of pulling at you and talking to you. You understand that? And your mom's going like, do it. You need to step into it. It's time, right? Okay. And the other thing she just said is, and you don't need validation from anyone, right? You don't need permission from anyone. Do you understand? I'm not professing to know exactly what she's referring to, but she's very adamant about it. So I know it's important for you right now. Just help a little bit, Laura? It's funny, the guides just showed me a card that was in, it's one of my decks, Dream Virtue deck. It's an angel deck. And the card itself says, reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and don't compromise. And they just showed me that card. So to me, that's coming back to, this is something important for you, but you're in your head way too much, and they're saying stop. So the guides are actually stepping in and commenting about that too. New beginnings, new start, my dear. You can live that. Everything is choice, guys. Everything is choice. I mean, it seemed that way at times, but it really is at the end of the day. Lisa Ann, I love your comment. Drop my cell and you came on. Guess I meant to be here. Gotta love that. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Let's see, we're down to 42. Hopefully I haven't bored too many people. I'm getting excited about like as I said, the program I'm taking to and how it's interacting in my life and how I'm seeing changes. Candy, was Laura one of your family? And Laura, you are very, very, very welcome, my dear. Very welcome. One step at a time. Okay. Let me see. Jumping back here. Just trying to see. I've got 46 people in here. I'm trying to see. The trolls are out. I didn't go out live on my phone tonight because I find sometimes when I'm looking over here and looking over here, I get distracted and it's hard to stay in the energy. So I decided tonight, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I can go back into the video after and delete them. You guys can just ignore them if they're there. Right. Marsha, give me a second here. Marsha Taylor. 1 minute. You want to connect with your dad? Yeah, I got some people saying hi now. And I've stayed over tonight just because of all the issues that I had getting live tonight. Didn't want to work. So give me a second here. So Marsha, I'm going to you, Marsha. I presume you're still here. The first thing when I start to key into your dad, the first thing I actually hear is it's kind of a comment that a lot of them will use, but it's, I can't believe I'm doing this. And whenever I hear that, it represents that kind of in this life, they would have thought this stuff was crap. It wasn't real. Okay. So I get that. And then I get a laugh. So it tells me that he had a sense of humor too. Didn't always take himself seriously. And I think it's funny because I go from him like being older and passing, and then it's like going back to being a young man, and he shows me just being this, what's the word I want? Practical joker, mischievous, fun individual. He'd be a hoot to be around when you were young, right? And it's interesting because then he shows me this. I'm older now and I'm grown up, like making these jokes kind of, and I have to act mature, but then you'd see this glimpse of him still being mischievous. Right. So I don't know if he had people at one point kind of going, you need to grow up. But on the other side, you know what? He's so animated. He's so much fun. He's so funny. He likes to talk. He'd be someone who would be telling jokes. Right. And he loved his life. He didn't sit on the sidelines. Right. I also feel like he was ready for that transition because he shows me that he says, I had a good life. Right. Family being very important for him. Right. They show me family being number one. Right. And it makes me feel like him and your mom had been together since they were quite young too. Because he's showing me like him chasing her, but it's more like, young or like teenager to early 20s, like this time frame, teenage years. Yeah, he's a hoot. Was there something you're looking for from him, Marsha, or just want to check in to see how he's doing? Candy, if you said you just got a friend request from me, can you report it? Because obviously I'm here talking to you, so I'm not sending friend requests. And if you look at the name, whether, especially if it is my work name, Paula Hunter -psychic medium and naturopath, if it comes up any other way, it's not me. Report them. They tend to do that sometimes on me. I can hear my phone going off, so I'm sure some other people are getting that as well. Report them, guys. Just wondering whether Marsha's still here. Marsha, if you heard my what I was talking about. Yeah, I got a lot of people saying that they reported. So awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, some people have, I don't know. They got nothing else to do. I don't know how they think people are going to be that gullible or that stupid, but that's what they do. Especially that's why I call them trolls. That's what they are. Marsha, are you still there, hon, or did I lose you? Oh, there you go. I see you now. Just wanted to check in and see what he's saying. He would just be the social one. Social. He'd like to tell stories. And what he shows me, it's like the joke about, yeah, I caught a fish this big. And then he's making jokes, right? So not that he was telling stories that were all lies. That's not what I mean. But it's like that mischievous side about liking to stretch the truth. Make sense a little bit? Kenzie, hold that thought, okay? Because I'm gonna answer that a little bit for you in just a minute, okay? Carol saying I call them people without a real life. Yeah. Too many of them sometimes too. Marsha, I just get a fun loving. I get a being, visitation family. I get, is your mom still on this side? Because I kind of get the sense of like waiting. Right? He's just fun. And he's funny. He liked to listen to the sound of his own voice. Again, this is not being negative at all. It's just that's that personality, fun egotistic, like fun ego. Because he's kind of going, yep, I loved myself. Just being funny. Yeah. The reason why I asked about your mom still being here, I felt that she was, but I get this, he shows me, when I key into, if you will, your mom, he gets serious and he's around her a lot. Right. And he's basically waiting for her. So that shows me there was a strong connection here on the earth plane, but there's also a strong connection on the soul perspective because the things I've learned in the work, some people think that, just because we're married here, we're connected over there. And that's not always the truth. We'll come here to learn lessons or have experiences. And then we get to the other side, we can kind of go, oh, well, thanks for helping me with that. And then we go our separate ways. But when I key into your dad, Marsha, he's very much about, he would be there for your mom, like through thick or thin, through anything. There's no joking aside where it comes to your mom, right? She is his number one, always has been, always will be. And he's just showing me that he's waiting for that reconnection. And I'm not saying your mom is passing right now. That's not what I mean. It's just that he's waiting for that reconnection again, showing me that it was a strong relationship. Okay. Hopefully that's helped a little bit because I'm late on my little posts here, putting in the messages. Awesome. Thanks for letting me do that for you, Marsha. Kenzie, I'm going to bring your message up here real quick. You said, can depression play a negative role in empaths and their intuition? I feel like I've lost the connection, mind, body, soul with others. You're just curious. And, whoops, I guess the wrong one there. Everything moved. Now, an empath, I always describe an empath as being like a sponge. So an empath sucks up the energy of its surroundings and, the workplaces, the people they associate with, right? And so it's very easy for empaths to go into that anxiety or depression state too. The other thing, I'm an empath as well. This is how I kind of started on this path too, is empaths tend to feel things 10 times more than the normal person. We're highly sensitive from the emotional perspective as well. Not that we just feel it, but the way that we express it too. Okay. So when you're asking the question about can it play negatively in your intuition? Well, think of it this way. If we are in a state of depression or even anxiety, we are not in an optimal state, right? We're not in a balanced state. So if we're trying to hear or get information when we're not balanced, it's going to be more difficult to do so, right? This is why it's so important, meditation and these other tools. And also looking at that, if you will, when we look at depression, what can be the causes, right? Am I just having a mood? Is there something that's going on in my life that is representing this emotion, right? That I need to work with? There can be other triggers sitting there. And one of the biggest things I found since COVID hit and the energy started shifting like crazy is the way that you used to key in, right? So maybe the way you used to get information, because the energy has changed and shifted so much, the way you used to get it, everything's changed. So before it'd be like, oh, I need to sit and I need to do this and this, these are my rituals. These are the ways that I do it. And the guides came around and said, well, no, you don't. Yeah, this is what I need. So I found that, the feelings that I had in my body when I was receiving information wasn't there anymore. And one of the things they said to me is, you were used to kind of flipping a switch, turning it off and on. You know what? Here's the power. I need to get the information. Now I can turn it off. And what they're saying is with the new energy, we're running in it all the time. So one, when our bodies aren't used to it, it can cause a lot of problems. We said the headaches and the back pains and sleeping and not sleeping, going to the extremes, but it can also cause a lot of emotional stuff going on too. So it's not necessarily that you've lost the connection. It can be that it's coming in a different way right now. And it can also be that you're not giving yourself the time to get grounded enough to hear. If my head is busy, if I have a client and I got a lot of personal stuff going on, if I'm kind of crazy over here, you know what? I won't read for a client because I'm not going to be my best. I'm not going to be able to hear with the clarity of what I want to hear because I need to deal with my own stuff. Right? So just recognize that that's saying that if there's something sitting there in an emotional perspective, it's so important that you look at that and say, okay, what is it that I'm meant to learn here? What is it that I need to do to help me move through this? Does that make sense a little bit? Kenzie? Hopefully this has made a little bit of sense anyway. And that has been great. I appreciate some of the interesting questions tonight. I don't know if I've lost you guys or if just things, or if I've just kind of, because I don't see any more. Oh, there we go. Awesome. And Kenzie, reach out. There's a lot of people like yourself that are, the lights are going on, right? We're living in a crazy world, and with the craziness around, the guides have made the comment about this is almost like the last ditch efforts between the dark and the light. So all the little lights are coming on, right? The intuitive people are waking up, right? Steve, I see you jump up there. We had this conversation a while ago, how people are waking up and Steve, you and me had some good conversations. We were talking about, paying it forward. You did something nice and it was coming back, and how that works, right? These are some of the things I'm learning in the course, talking about what we call universal laws. People are used to the secret and just the one law, but there's so much more. Jenny, no, I didn't send out any requests. There's someone that's, I guess, trying to troll me right now. Okay. So guys, I'm going to call it a night. I've been going on for an hour and a bit now. Thanks for coming to hang with me. I appreciate it. And thanks for listening. I was talking a little bit metaphysics here too. But that's one of my passions, right? We can, as we change our own lives, and as I said, look to we call it shadow work, looking to those dark places and the things you don't want to do. When we do that, it's how we're going to change our world, is by changing ourselves. When we're going, oh, that person over there is losing their mind, or, today's society, oh, you're vaccinated, you're not, right? And the arguing and the fighting, when we can step outside of that and saying, I choose not to give my power away to that anymore. And I'm going to just deal with what's right here. Right. And that's what you're going to have. I wish I could say that the work was easy. It isn't at times, but you know what? The way I phrase it is, it's the most rewarding work you're ever going to have to do. Because one of the biggest things that I've learned is, now that I listen to my intuition more, now that I do the work, I can see triggers. I can see when things are going up, and the guides go, you know what? You can do something about it, or you can ignore it. But you know what? So I have a choice. I try and listen to it here, then here, right? And that's all of our choices, right? When we do the work, when we look at our lives and say, what's in balance, what isn't, what are you willing to do about it? Okay. Awesome talking to everyone. Thanks for hanging out. And I don't know if I have I'll just check my book, because I have my calendar right here, and I book everything out just so I know what the heck I'm doing. Did I book it in November yet? Yeah, I did. I have it on November 2nd right now. That's the plan. November 2nd at 8 p.m. Okay, I'll post on it on my website. And I can only post a week in advance on the Facebook page. So you can always check out my website, to get information on when I'm going live and other events and stuff too. And thanks, guys. And again, if you're looking for a session, if you need a connection, if you've got some questions, you know what? Look me up. I'd be more than happy to set up a private session for you guys, okay? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have yourself a wonderful night. Thanks for coming to share some time with me. Have a good night.